Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is all about the CFA Level 1 exam, and it's kind of a continuation of my previous video where I actually shared with you that I have passed my Level 1 exam in February. And first of all, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who said a lot of nice words to me and congratulated me with this. It meant a lot. I'm sorry if I haven't replied to all of your comments under that video, but I did see all of them, so thank you again. And now I was thinking it would be a good idea to create this video talking about what helped me this time, and I'm hoping that maybe some of these tips or some of the things that I will share in this video will help you as well. And as some of you might know, especially if you've been following this channel, is that I actually took this exam 3 times, and I did fail the first 2 times, and I finally passed on the 3rd attempt. And while some people might say, well, like, how can I teach something or share some things that might help if I couldn't pass this exam on the first go? But actually I think that I can give you more information because I know what I was using when I was preparing for my first attempt, what I did when I was doing my second attempt, and what things I changed when I was doing my 3rd attempt, which I finally passed. And I'm not here to be like a guru or anything, I just wanted to share my experience. And I know that there are not a lot of videos on this topic in general on YouTube, and I think even if it helps just one person or someone would be interested in my story, here it is. So if you're currently preparing for the exam or you're planning to take the exam soon, I hope it will be helpful. And if it is helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video so that I know this topic is indeed important for you, and I'll create more videos about the CFA exam. In this video I will cover 7 things that I think were helpful for me and helped me to pass the exam. And I think the 7th one is the less obvious one, and it's not like a traditional thing that many people would tell you, but I think it's one of the most important ones, to be honest, so make sure you stay till the end. The first thing that you need to do is obviously to create a study plan. And I know it's very obvious, but still it is important. And I think on the first attempt I didn't plan it that well, because when I was starting my preparation I did create some kind of a study plan, but then I didn't stick to it, because there are 2 things in life. You need to create a plan, and then you actually need to follow the plan. So create the plan and stick to it. CFA Level 1 exam covers a lot of topics, and they're quite big and they're quite broad. Sometimes I feel like it's the whole university degree in one exam. So it's very important you prepare yourself accordingly. I think what is a good idea is to kind of understand when is your exam date, like if you have already booked it or when you're planning to take it, and then work backwards. So you know how many topics are there, make sure you leave enough time for the revision and practice at the end, and then try to allocate the time for each topic. Remember, consistency is the key, so try to stick to your plan. If you missed 1 day, if you miss 2 days, it happens. And I know that sometimes when you get into this wave of like, oh, I've already procrastinated so much, I might as well not do anything for another day. But no, try to get back to your schedule. Make sure you allocate more time for the bigger topics. As you know, the CFA Level 1 has different topics and they all have different weightings. So check the weighting and then estimate how much time you need for each topic. Approximately, obviously, because if you're starting for the first time, you might not know exactly how it will go, but try to estimate. Also, if it is not your first attempt trying to take this exam, then make sure you also concentrate on the topics that you did bad in your previous exam, because it will be the most efficient use of your time. And also always listen to yourself and kind of reflect back on what you know your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. So for example, as you know, ethics and FRA are the biggest topics within the CFA Level 1 exam, at least this year. And a lot of people saying ethics is like so difficult and you need to make sure you have a lot of time, you have left a lot of time for this. But for me, ethics was like really easy. I mean, not really easy, but relatively easy. So I didn't have to allocate as much time to this topic as I would have if I would just check in the weightings. And I personally think that it is due to the fact that I watched Suits like a million of times. Law and ethics, they kind of cross over. So I think maybe that was one of the reasons that that topic was relatively easy for me. Second tip is choose your learning style. Choose your prep provider, decide how you will prepare. Obviously from the CFA website you're getting the books with all the curriculum, However, just reading might not be enough. So I was thinking that it would be totally fine for me to read just the books, because I read quite fast and I usually understand what's written, and I always studied just with books and it was always easy for me. But also try to use different methods, such as summarizing it or like explaining it to someone else. Or if you don't have someone else to explain it to, just talk to yourself in the mirror, because sometimes when you talk through topics and concepts, it does help you and you know what's your learning style. Obviously, the prep provider is very important, and I think it was one of the biggest things that I learned this way, because the first 2 ways I was just using the books, but on my third attempt I used Mark Meldrum videos, and they were great. I never thought I could actually learn from the videos because I'm just not used to it, but hearing someone else talking about the things and explaining the things in a slightly different way that's written in the books, and like using personal examples, trying to reflect back to the world, actually helped me a lot, and a lot of concepts that I could not grasp during my first attempts were covered in all of his videos. Nothing in this video is sponsored, it's just actually my experience. These videos were great, and if you know, and if you're chatting to me on Instagram or wherever, I was always saying that I'm using those videos and they are great. And the third tip is actually do not use just the prep provider, which is kind of offsetting what I said before, but prep providers can be great and they usually cover everything that you need for the exam. CFA Materials are the primary source, so you need to make sure you still cover at least some of the information in there. So for example, I didn't read the books cover to cover again this time. However, I was reading all of the LOSs, I was doing all the end of chapter questions, I was doing all of the questions on the CFA website, I did all of the mocks on the CFA website, because this is like the origin of everything. So please, even if you think that your prep provider is super good and everyone is saying that they're amazing, and even that I'm saying, for example, that those videos are super good, still refer back to the CFA website, CFA books, and all the questions and mocks. The fourth tip, I don't think it was that much of an issue for me, but I know that a lot of people struggle with the time management on the exam itself. So for the mock exams, whenever you're preparing, try to time yourself and make sure that you fit in the time limit that they're given to you. For me, it wasn't that much of a problem because, to be honest, I always do all of the questions really quick. I always think like, if I know, I'll answer. If I don't know, there's no point to like break my brain and trying to figure it out. So I finished the exam in less than 2.5 hours. I spent like an hour 10 minutes on the first part and like an hour and 15 minutes I think on the second part. But I spoke to some other people who think it is very tough to fit in the timing, so make sure you prepare and don't do just one mock exam on the timing. So yeah, make sure you do some of the mocks with the timer so that you know how quick you should go through the exam, and to make sure you don't run out of the time on the actual exam day. Tip number 5 is practice. I didn't leave enough time for all my practice questions in my first attempt. I tried to do better on the second attempt, but still it wasn't enough. This time I left a month and a half just to go over all of the mocks, all of the practical questions that are on CFA website and other providers. Especially make sure you use all of the question banks on the topics that you feel not that sure about. So you can go through all of the questions, review the answers, try to read what was wrong, why you don't understand something, and then go back and do those questions again. If you purchase any prep provider materials, there will always be extra mocks. There are 2 mocks on the CFA website itself, and also there is a great website called UWorld. There are 2 mocks there that you can do as well. They also have a lot of questions in there, and the questions are very numerical, which I thought was a good addition to the CFA bank questions. That website is free. You get like a 90-day free trial, so you can totally use it just before the exam, and then you don't have to pay for anything. And I thought it was a great source of information, and they also give you a very detailed answers to all of the questions so you understand what was wrong. And aim to leave at least 6 weeks, at least 4 to 6 weeks for practice, because it is the key. For this exam, just reading the books will not cut it. You need to actually do a lot of questions, and you need to understand why you're getting some questions wrong. Obviously, you will never get 100%, but the more you practice, the better it will be for you. Tip number 6, find a practice buddy. I keep saying that this time I actually was preparing with someone. I met him on Instagram, and we started chatting, and then we just made a proper study plan together, and we were always there for each other. And when you talk with someone about the topics, when you discuss the questions, and most important, you just support each other when you want to say, screw this, I'm not doing this exam. I had these moments a lot, and he's like, no, Kate, you have to push, we're gonna get there. So it was super, super helpful. And it also helps to keep you on schedule, because I'm a very lazy person, and if I would be just studying by myself, as I did in the first 2 times, I would keep postponing. I would be thinking, oh no, I can cover it tomorrow, I can cover it the next day and the next day. But because I knew that, for example, tomorrow I have a call and we are supposed to talk through those topics, then I would obviously make sure I'm prepared for that call. I know that a lot of you are messaging me on Instagram. I'm sorry I can't reply to all of you, because while I'm here to give you some experience of what I went through, I cannot just guide all of you through this process, because it's a very lengthy process of preparing for this exam. However, you can even use the comments under this video, just say, hey, I need a buddy to study, or something like that, and see if you can find someone else who is looking to study together. Obviously, you don't need to know each other. Like, it would be great, obviously it would be great if it would be someone from your circle who you know already, but I know that, for example, I don't know any single person within my reach in London who is doing this exam, so I had to use the social media to find someone, and I'm sure it might work for you as well. And the most important, tip number 7, it might not be that relevant in terms of like studying practice or preparation tips or like special calculator. It might not be that obvious, but it is so important. You need to reward yourself. You need to make plan what you will do after the exam. You can either promise yourself to buy something, or make a plan with your friends to go out, or like go to the park, or do something nice. So whether you promise to buy something for yourself, make a fun plan with your friends, or book a trip, you need to do something that will make you motivated and make you to keep going. So for me, I had an exam on 18th of February, and on 19th of February, I was going on a 10-day trip. It was a work trip / holiday trip. It was like a light at the end of the tunnel, because as you know, the last 2 weeks usually are the most stressful ones, because you can see how your time is running out and you still think that you're not ready, and you're studying insane amount of hours every day. So you feel so tired sometimes, and you just like want to give up and lay down and do nothing. But because I knew that if I do it really hard for these 2 weeks, then in 2 weeks and 1 day, I'm going on a holiday. And when I was feeling like, that's it, I'm not doing it, I don't want to do this exam, I don't want to do anything, I was like, no, it's just a little bit more, and then I'll have a great time. So try to set up a rewards for yourself straight after the exam. It might be even on the same day if you want to like go out and celebrate or whatever. Or it might be the next day, but make sure you know why you're doing something. Make sure that you have this sign of pleasure over there and you're going to it. So then the pain that you have to tolerate during the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever it gets stressful for you, is tolerable, because you know why you're doing it, and you know that you will have something nice after that. So that's it, to be honest. I don't think anything of this is magic, to be honest, and I'm sure you know a lot of the things already, but just wanted to share my experience, tell you how it went, what I think was crucial for me. And if this was helpful, please leave a comment. If you have any other ideas that you would want me to talk about on the topic of the CFA or anything else, please leave a comment as well, because I'm actually kind of free right now and I'm planning to post these videos more often. So I'm very much looking forward to the ideas. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also don't forget to subscribe to my Instagram. I post there more often, and in there you can message me and I reply quicker than I do in here. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.